Pokemon Horizons continues with its amazing episodes, as today's one is no different. Liko and the Rising Voltaclers work together to save kidnapped Sprigatito from the evil explorers. However, it seems like this story isn't going to be as smooth sailing as our heroes think. So everyone, together, let's recap and review Pokemon Horizons Episode 3. As long as I'm with Sprigatito, I'm sure. We open today's episode with an old lady speaking to a young Liko. Her face is shadowed by the sunlight, but this is none other than Liko's grandma, the person who gave Liko her special pendant. Liko's grandmother, who is currently wearing the pendant, explains the importance of it, but also gives Liko some very important advice. She says, when you have Pokemon by your side, everything will be alright, and rubs an Arcanine's fur who is close by. It looks like Liko's grandmother will play a major role in this story and her connection between Liko, the pendant, and the explorers. With her face being covered up, it makes me believe there's a ton of mystery behind her and her reasons to why she made Liko the new protector of the pendant. This scene fades away as we see Liko wake up in the Rising Voltacler's cabin. Liko remembers her failure to save Sprigatito in last night's conflict against the explorers and decides today she will get Sprigatito back. And I love this short scene so much as it's little dibs and dabs to Liko's character development of challenging huge obstacles. Liko heads out to be greeted by Orla, Murdock, and Mollie. Liko thanks them for letting them stay on the airship. Everyone reassures Liko that they will help her find Sprigatito, as that's what Friede's Rising Voltacler's crew does, so she should trust their leader. Friede comes down from the skies with his Charizard and Captain Pikachu. She asks if there's been any signs of Sprigatito, which he confirms there has not, but everyone gets to work as the airship will be landing soon. At a harbour, Murdock gets his partner Pokemon Rockruff and tells it to do its best in aiding their search to find Sprigatito. Mollie tells Liko they should ask around the Pokemon Center first, and Liko thanks everyone for helping with this, and Friede says no sweat, as that's what they do, and the crew do their signature handshake. Friede is such a go-to character, and I really love the Rising Voltacler's crew for supporting and reassuring Liko here. Operation Find Sprigatito begins. Liko and Mollie get to the Pokemon Center, and Liko thinks that Mollie will join her, but it turns out she won't, and gives Liko a note for Nurse Joy. I thought this was quite funny from Mollie, but at least it will help Liko in building up her confidence going solo for some things. Inside the center, Liko gives the note to Nurse Joy, who will do her best into looking into the incident. Back at the harbour, Ludlow is keeping watch of the ship whilst doing some fishing. However, he might not be doing the best job, as Zir, one of the members from the explorers, is hiding close by. The focus quickly shifts over to Liko watching Nido Thing, the popular streamer. They explain about all of the Nurse Joy's partner Pokemon from the different regions. However, Liko's attention is changed to a girl rushing in saying her Vulpix has been injured. The girl sits by Liko in the waiting area and explains how she's worried about her Vulpix. This makes Liko really worry and hopes Sprigatito is safe wherever it is. We are then introduced to another harbour location where Sprigatito is being kept inside. You would think that, oh, Sprigatito is probably being tortured by the villains right now. Well, you are very much wrong, as Sprigatito is perfectly fine and Conia, another member of the explorers, is treating Sprigatito to a bunch of Pokemon food and toys. She expresses how she thinks Sprigatito is so cute, but all of this is quickly cut off by my goat, Amethio, who happens to be standing behind her, which completely startles Conia. So yeah, like I said in my recent video, the explorers are definitely villains, but not cold-hearted ones. They're not just going to randomly attack a Pokemon or hurt them for the sake of attacking a Pokemon. All they need here is the pendant, and that is why they're using Sprigatito as bait. Conia apologizes to Amethio, who says that with Sprigatito being here, he knows the Rising Voltaclers will come. He then receives a call from Zir, who tells Amethio exactly that, and Amethio says to him that Friede is their target. In my opinion, this scene was very hype, as it was setting up for something very big later on, as Amethio was now preparing for the arrival of Friede as everything was going according to his plan. Back at the airship, Orla, with the help of her partner Pokemon Metagross and Elekid, power up the battlefield on the ship back into wing mode. At the Pokemon Center, the girl's Vulpix has been healed up, and Liko is happy for them. Nurse Joy then asks Liko to help her out with some boxes, which she confusedly agrees to. As she heads outside, Mollie and her Chansey appear to help her out. Coming out of a shop close by, we actually see Conia, who is dressed up in her disguise. However, she gets caught lacking by Rockruff, who realizes that Conia is who they're looking for. Liko, Friede, and Murdock come to the scene, and Conia tries to get away by throwing stuff and running past people. She tells Amethio on her Rotom phone that the target Friede has been found, which he says perfect to. We are then shown Zir throwing a strange device on the ship, and this is very important for later, and I'll explain why. Tension increases as Amethio tells Zir Friede has been found. Liko and Friede continue chasing after Conia, and they happen to arrive at a warehouse location. Just as Liko is about to head in, Friede stops her, saying she can't just go rushing in head on. But Liko says she has to save Sprigatito, she has to. Which Friede replies, I get it, and tells her you have to have a plan to sneak into places like this, or you'll just get caught. I can't lie, this scene was very funny, but with their plan established, the gang head inside. Liko and Friede are greeted by Amethio, who asks them if they've brought the pendant, which Liko shows them and says if she gives it to them, they must give Sprigatito back. So Friede puts forward an offer that they should battle, and whoever wins gets to keep the pendant as well as Sprigatito, and Amethio agrees to this for the pendant. Friede gives Liko a little wink, and he tells her that he will handle this battle, and Liko and Rockruff run off to find Sprigatito. Their plan goes into motion. Finally, what we've all been waiting for, Amethio vs Friede round 3, let's go. Both trainers start off strong, with Captain Pikachu using double team and Ceruledge easily getting rid of the fakes with Night Slash. Friede quickly uses this as an opportunity to call for Captain Pikachu to use Thunder Punch behind Ceruledge, like he did in their first battle. However, Amethio has adapted to this move and counters with Phantom Force, which is a very clever move choice for Amethio, and I love how the writers gave Ceruledge that move. Ceruledge dodges Pikachu's attack and hits it down to the ground. Friede asks if Pikachu is alright, which he is. Friede says that Amethio is a very strong opponent. That whole battle scene was really good. The 3D camera makes everything so much better. As always, Horizon's battles don't let down with the animation side of things. While this happens, Liko and Rockruff find Sprigatito locked in a room, and Liko tries her best to open it. Outside, 2 explosions take place on the roof of the warehouse, where Amethio and Friede are now battling. Ceruledge and Pikachu clash head-on with the moves Bitter Blade and Thunder Punch, creating a huge explosion. This scene went hard. Friede says, is that all that Amethio has? And Amethio says he shouldn't be the one talking, and commands Ceruledge to use Psycho Cut. Just as the attack is about to hit, we immediately cut to Liko, who finally barges down the door with her shoulder. Liko and Sprigatito finally reunite. This was a wholesome scene as their bonds are quickly growing deeper. However, there's no time to waste as Rockruff reminds them they have to escape quickly. They get outside to be greeted by Conia, who exclaims her love for Sprigatito in what's meant to be a serious situation. But Sprigatito rejects her love, even after all the things Conia did for Sprigatito. So instead, she says that she'll take Sprigatito back by force with her Skarmory. Yes, Serious Mode Conia is back. I'm really starting to like Conia a lot. She's super funny and kinda reminds me of Jessie in a way. Liko gets ready to battle and commands Sprigatito to use Leafage. This makes a massive flurry of an attack, blinding Conia. Once she's able to see, she realizes that it was all a decoy, as the 3 of them have now escaped. Back at the battle with Amethio and Friede, Friede and Captain Pikachu are backed against the edge of the roof, about to be defeated, and Amethio says this is the end of the line. However, Liko's Leafage attack from earlier has caught up to them, appearing behind Friede. This was badass. Why I say that, as it was all part of Friede's plan. Amethio angrily realizes that he's been tricked, as Liko and Sprigatito run from the warehouse. Friede pretty much says, I'm him, and falls off the building only to be lifted up by his trusty Charizard. This was so goated as they fully tricked Amethio. Friede tells his good friend they'll have to continue their battle another time and flies off. But this time, instead of Amethio chasing after them, he's surprisingly cool and just watches. I wonder why. As sunset hits, the airship is gliding above a huge ocean. Liko and Sprigatito have a beautiful heart-to-heart moment. She tells her partner that by her side, the 2 of them will protect the pendant, as she is a Pokemon trainer. And like her grandmother said to her years ago, with Pokemon by your side, everything will be alright. A very wholesome scene, and I can't wait to see the pair of them grow and get even stronger. I'm loving Liko's character development. Liko and Sprigatito then get back to the main crew, and she decides that after everything she's gone through, she's so thankful to the crew for helping her, and to protect her pendant, she asks if she can join the Rising Volt Tacklers, which Friede asks Captain Pikachu if he's fine with it, which he is. So Friede, Orla, Mollie and Murdock welcome Liko as the newest member of the Rising Volt Tacklers, and Liko promises to do her best. They all do their signature handshake with Liko joining in this time. Even Ludlow does it as well, who's busy doing his fishing. Friede and Captain Pikachu point to their next direction, which is to the Paldea region, and the crew joke around about it. I am so happy that Liko has joined the Rising Volt Tacklers. That was a perfect decision to be made, and she's definitely going to learn a lot and have so many more adventures with them on this journey. Later, Liko speaks to her friend Anne. Hey, Anne's back, who says that she's joined the Rising Volt Tacklers for the holiday, and Anne is so happy for them. Anne. Anne is another great character in Pokemon Horizons, and I love her friendship with Liko. Finally, after what feels like so long, the boy Roy finally makes his debut. We see him leaving his house on an island, and he says good morning to his granddad. Roy is literally full of energy, and we get to see him at a beach throwing rocks. His attention then quickly turns towards a dusty flag on the floor. He picks it up, amazed by what it is. We know what it is though, it's the Rising Volt Tacklers ship flag. But how did it end up here? Bringing episode 3 to a conclusion. Man, this episode was really good. What I loved so much about it was the focus on all of the new characters, even if it was for a little bit. Liko grew closer to the Rising Volt Tacklers crew, and even ended up joining them, which I thought was a perfect decision. We got focus on Amethio and Conia, especially Conia, as her personality was given a ton of focus in this episode. She's definitely going to be a comedic relief at times, but also have a serious mode when needed to. The battle between Amethio and Friede was hype. Even though it was short, the animation was amazing, and the way Friede fully tricked Amethio was so cold. Friede was him there. It's a shame that the battles are very short, however I'm personally fine with it because I'm sure they're saving a massive battle down the line. Liko and Sprigatito successfully reuniting and establishing their new goals of becoming true Pokemon trainers was also very wholesome. I am very excited to see them grow. Meeting Roy also, even though his focus was short, was very great because the transition into his episode for episode 4 is definitely going to be very good. Now, one thing. Why did I say the device Zir threw on the ship earlier was so important, and the fact that Amethio was so calm with Friede escaping? I believe Amethio is one step ahead of everyone, and why I say that is because Amethio definitely commanded Zir to put a tracking device on the ship so they can follow the Rising Volt Tacklers everywhere they go in the Pokemon world. Right now, the Rising Volt Tacklers think that everything will be fine, but little do they know, Amethio was always one step ahead, as he was prepared for them to escape and not get the pendant in this episode. Which in my opinion makes him and this episode so much cooler. The writing has drastically improved. Deep down, Amethio was truly him, and he will find Liko and the pendant once and for all. Literally, Pokemon Horizons is doing everything right. What an amazing episode. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for all new future Pokemon anime related content, like my weekly Pokemon Horizons videos.